Good afternoon, everybody. Big Mike back here with you once again. Welcome back to Big Mike Talks, where today I'm going to be covering the results for MLW Super Fight, cover Monday Night Raw, NWA Power, which made its glorious return, and AEW Dynamite, along with pretty much the important parts of the WrestleMania presser event, which took place in Vegas. So sit back, relax, buckle in, because it's going to be a good one. Let's get into it with the MLW Super Fight results. As our first match, it is a 2 out of 3 falls match for the MLW middleweight title, as Rocky Romero defends against Ichiban, in which Rocky beat Ichiban 2 falls to 1, so he keeps his title. Very interesting. Next matchup, very unexpected, as Davey Boy Smith Jr., who we haven't seen in MLW in a while, beat one called Manders, one half of the tag champions, via submission, so that's interesting. Jacob Fatu beat Yuji Nagata via the pinfall, and then he gets attacked post-match, not just by his old boys in Country unit, but also via Mads Kruger, who apparently has now taken over Contra, which definitely a interesting way to go, especially with Jacob Fatu becoming a free agent. So, that's probably how they're going to write him off. And then in a Death Machine Rules match, which is, I've never heard of that before. I guess it's some sort of hardcore gimmick match. Sami Callihan beats Akira. I'm guessing post-match, the rest of the Calling come beat up Akira, because he was once one of them. And then he gets saved by the most unlikely people. The Calling's former leader, Raven. So it looks like Akira and Raven are going to be like mentor-mentee. So that should be cool. Next up, we have Mystico, who is being seconded, being managed by Cesar Duran, who, this is the first time in a long time Cesar has been on MLW. Super glad he's back. And Mystico is taking on Averno. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. I do apologize. As he's being managed not only by Jesus Rodriguez, aka the former Ricardo Rodriguez, if you remember him, and Selena De La Renta, in which Mystico picks up the win. So it looks like we're going to have a battle of Promotions Dorado. That's Selena De La Renta's crew and Cesar Duran's crew, which could be interesting, as it includes Jeff Cobb. So maybe that plays into things. And then finally, our main event for Super Fight, and it's for the MLW World title, as Satoshi Kojima beats Alex Kane, who is being managed by the Bumae Fight Club. And yeah, that's definitely interesting, because back in the day when MLW first formed, Kojima was actually their first champion. So, kind of a full circle moment here. So, that's pretty cool. Going to be interesting to see how MLW handles things from here. And yeah, that's the results for Super Fight. We now move right into Monday Night Raw. Now, I'm going to say this. I did miss a bit of the beginning, aka the promo between Cody Rhodes, Seth Rollins, and Drew McIntyre. Monday was a bit of a travel date for me, so I kind of just got under the radar for Raw. So I did miss a little bit of that. Apparently they were talking about who Cody Rhodes was going to challenge. You know, Drew wanted Cody to challenge Roman Reigns so Drew can challenge Seth for WrestleMania. It's a whole thing. I'm sure it was great. Now, our first match of the evening is a Four Corners match where the winner would then move on to SmackDown to face British Strong Style, that's Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate, where the winner of that match would go on to face the Judgment Day for the tag titles. I don't know if this is going to be a WrestleMania match, but I guess we'll see. Our participants, we got Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods of the New Day, Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa of DIY, Giovanni Vinci and Ludwig Kaiser of Imperium, and Julius and Brutus Creed of the Creed Brothers. And I'm going to say this was a heck of a good tag team match. A lot of spotlights on a whole lot of people, including a top rope Brutus ball from Brutus after everyone just dives on each other. Near the end of the match, Creeds have, I want to say Woods, up for the Brutus ball. Ciampa tags in. Brutus hits the Brutus ball. Then Ciampa gets them out of the ring. Gargano and Ciampa with a meet in the middle to pick up the win. And honestly, that's going to be a dang good match. I cannot wait for that. That's going to be great later tonight. Next up, we got a Shayna Baszler promo, in which she said, "Last time I was in the chamber, I destroyed everyone, and that was to get to Becky Lynch at WrestleMania. Now I don't have to wait, and I can tear Becky apart limb by limb to get to the chamber." And then we get a Becky Lynch promo. She's kind of in the back. Pretty much says, obviously my WrestleMania moment is on the way. I obviously need to beat Shayna with my future on the line. We go right into that match, as it's Becky Lynch versus Shayna Baszler, where the winner is entered into the Women's Elimination Chamber, and then the winner of that match moves on to WrestleMania to challenge Rhea Ripley, which, we'll talk about that in the presser. This match was a bit slow to get started, but eventually things did pick up, including a crazy reverse DDT. Becky Lynch a couple of times looking for the manhandle slam, but Baszler reverses it. Becky constantly going for the armbar, but Baszler has the perfect counter for it. Baszler goes for a big armbar that gets countered. Becky rolls it through, hits the manhandle slam to pick up the victory. So definitely a decent match, picked up by the end, and we'll talk about that in the presser section. We then get a backstage interview with Liv Morgan. She put over her future opponent Zoe Stark, as next week Stark and Liv Morgan are going to have their own Elimination Chamber qualifier. Then Liv pretty much says, "These girls have nothing to do with my business. I've been out almost a year. And next week, it's all about my revenge, and my revenge on Rhea Ripley. Watch me." So, that's going to be a little interesting match. A nice little kind of side story for Liv Morgan. Although, I wouldn't mind her winning the chamber. I think that'd be cool. Next up, we got Adam Pearce and Drew McIntyre. They're talking backstage. Apparently, Drew wants a piece of CM Punk. And then, Pearce is saying, "Look, he's not cleared. I should be fining you, especially for wearing that shirt," in which he has a meme shirt of, I I forget the actor. It's the actor that's like pointing at the grave. On the grave it says CM Punk's WrestleMania dreams, and then the face is Drew pointing at. It's a great shirt. I want that shirt. Like, that's a great shirt. So then, out in the arena, we see on the TV Rhea Ripley's on her way to the ring, and Drew's kind of comments like, "Oh, looks like Rhea's out there. She doesn't look happy." And then Pierce is like, "Yeah, I'll handle this. You stay here." So, then we cut right into the Rhea Ripley in-ring promo. She pretty much says, "Yeah, Becky's in the chamber now, but I'm not here about that. Nia Jax, I want you out here right now so I can rip your head off your shoulders." This brings out Adam Pearce. He's pretty much like, no, we're not doing this right now. I get it, you want Nia, but I'm going to give you what you want. It's going to be a title match between you two at Elimination Chamber. So then Pierce is trying to move the show along with Rhea Ripley, trying to get her out of the ring. Out comes Nia Jax to a big old brawl. And that was pretty darn cool. Security comes out to try to break it up. Nia Jax breaks out, hits a big splash on Rhea, and then hits the Annihilator. I'm going to say this. I have been really impressed with Nia Jax these days. I wasn't really a big fan of her early on, but she's growing on me. I'm really appreciating her a whole lot more. And then there's this match. A mixed tag team match where you see Alpha Academy being represented by Akira Tozawa and Maxine Dupri taking on Ivar and Valhalla. And for whatever reason, Michael Cole is stuck on Valhalla not wearing her entrance headpiece. I don't get that. That's stupid. Move along. This match was not good. Like, I'm going to say this. I'm not going to rip on it for too long, but these guys did not have the right chemistry. Eventually, match ends with a World's Strongest Slam from the middle rope from Ivar to Tozawa to finally put it away. Like, good lord, what would... Like, I'm going to say this. Tozawa's matches with Ivar, while short, have usually been pretty good. And then Maxine and Valhalla, I mean, they're alright. But for whatever reason, this just did not click. So, hopefully they get some things together, and we see what Ivar can do in the future, away from the Alpha Academy. Anyway, next we got the Judgment Day backstage there in the clubhouse. Rhea's kind of complaining a little bit, saying, "Oh, who did Nia Jax beat to earn this spot? This is bull." And then Priest is like, "Yeah, let's everyone handle our business. Let's keep it on lock." And then in comes R-Truth. He's like, "Hey guys, I'm ready to go whenever you are, so I'm late." And then JD McDonough, just staring daggers at Truth, pretty much says, "Look, I don't know how many times we gotta tell you, you're not in Judgment Day. We kicked you out last week." And then Truth's like, No, I understand it. The last time you did that was pre-initiation. This was the real initiation." So Truth trying to weasel his way back into Judgment Day. JD then says, look, you're lucky I have a match tonight, otherwise I'd take you down where you stand. So then JD walks off, as does the rest of Judgment Day, except for Priest, who has a little talk with R-Truth, who says, look, why are you here? You're still not in Judgment Day, dude. And Truth's like, oh. Well, can I still stay in your clubhouse? And Priest just gets pissed off. He's like, sure, whatever. And then just walks off. Then Truth finds a box of t-shirts from Judgment Day. And they have the names of their, teammates. And then in tape, R-Truth. So it's R-Truth shirts he found. And, yeah, this is going to be interesting. Just wait. As we go into our next match, as JD McDonough takes on The Miz. I feel like I've seen this match before, but, it's fine. This match was definitely a bit more okay than I thought it would be. About middle of the match, JD hits a moonsault, but only gets a 2 count. Then all of a sudden, R-Truth's music hits. He's wearing the safety instructor vest thing that you wear at night or whatever, so people can see you better. And he's got the box of the t-shirts, and he's going around handing them out to people. So then McDonough and Miz are still fighting in the ring. It gets, kind of dumped to the outside, where then we see Dominic Mysterio, who has been managing JD McDonough. He's kind of hanging out, jawing with R-Truth a little. Then Truth puts one of the t-shirts on Dom Mysterio, but his arms are trapped, so he can't move. And then Miz with the skull-crushing finale. No, and then Truth gets in the ring, and he pulls out a big wad of cash, saying, JD, this is for you. He hands JD McDonough the money, who's trying to stuff it into his tights. But then Miz gets him, skull-crushing finale, money flies everywhere, although a little late. Like, if you watch that footage back, it definitely was a little late. So Miz picks up the win. We then see Miz walking up the ring. Truth runs up. And then they kind of pose together, so it looks... I don't know what quite is going on with Miz or Truth in Judgment Day. But this is one of the most entertaining things I think I've ever seen. So, I'm definitely with it. We then cut to Imperium backstage, who are talking with Adam Pearce, talking about how Gunther's Intercontinental title celebration is going. Pearce pretty much saying, look, everything is set up as requested. Gunther is going to have a great time. And who happens to interrupt but Braun Breaker, who comes in pretty much says, am I interrupting anything? Pearce is like, nah, it's good. Then Imperium walk off, and then you see Pearce pull out a contract for Raw, as he says, look, whatever Otis is offering you, I can double it. So, maybe a little sprinkling of teasing as to what's to come for WrestleMania. I wouldn't mind Braun Breaker versus Gunther. Let's go. Big meaty men slapping meat. Let's do it. Anyway, then we go to Gunther's celebration for 600 days as Intercontinental Champion. Dang, he has crushed the Honky Tonk Man's record. So, Ludwig Kaiser introduces him like he did when it was just him and Gunther, which, honestly, I kind of missed. It made Gunther feel a bit more special. I kind of hope Kaiser does this a little bit more. Anyway, so Gunther's out there. He grabs the mic. Pretty much says, I really appreciate the gesture from you two, but this is way too much. I don't really want it anymore. And it doesn't matter if it's 900 days, 1,000 days or more. I'm holding this title for a long, long time. And right now, I'm running out of competition. Who's left? Uso! Jey Uso hits the ring to a really good reaction. Pretty much says, look, I get it. It's a simple gesture for a simple audience. That was Gunther. My mistake. Then Gunther chimes in, I remember eliminating you from the Royal Rumble, but right now you're sending me some disrespect. Jey Uso replies, no disrespect. You've earned your stripes. I appreciate that. You're very accomplished yourself. This is Gunther. But with your tag title reigns, you've only put in about 50% of the work. Dang, shots fired. Gunther continues, what I've achieved here, I've achieved this 100% on my own. 100%. So Jey Uso replies, well, get ready, Gunther, because you're about to get 100% of this work. And then Jey turns to the crowd, asks, how about Jey, the new Intercontinental Champion? Gets a huge applause. I wouldn't mind that either, honestly. Gunther then replies, good for you. You got guts to achieve something yourself, but you're not going to last on my coattails. I'm going to beat you worse than your family ever did. Wow. Then they start fighting. Kaiser and Vinci get involved. Numbers overwhelm Jey Uso for a bit. Then the most unexpected allies show up. It's Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston of the New Day. They make the save, and we're going to see a 6-man tag next week. So that should be a fun one. Next up, we get a little build for the main event, which is Nakamura versus Cody Rhodes in a bull rope match, in which Nakamura, in his native language, which I'm going to say this, even though I can't really keep up with the subtitles, I love this. Having Nakamura speak in his native tongue in promos, it's great. It brings a new aura to him. I just wish he could win a match. He pretty much says, in short order, while you choose the bull rope match, I'm going to bring embarrassment to your family. And the only things you'll get in this match, pain, and loss. And Cody Rhodes, while you want to finish your story, I want Cody. So, that'll set that up for later. Next up, we got the women's tag team title match titles on the line, as former champions Katana Chance and Kaden Carter challenged the current champs Asuka and Kairi Sane of the Kabuki Warriors. And usually the Warriors kind of beat up after, Bayley turned on them. So it's going to be interesting to see. Chance and Carter definitely tried to take advantage of that, but Asuka and Kairi are too much. Carter and Chance try for the keg stand, but it gets countered. Then, end of the match, Kairi Sane trips up Carter from the outside. Tag in, neckbreaker, insane elbow combo for the Kabuki Warriors to retain. an entertaining match, but I do wish the crowd got a little bit more into it. I think at this point they were bored, so can't really blame them too much. Next up, we got a sit-down pre-show interview with Sami Zayn. So, like, arena's empty and he's just sitting there with the interviewer. And he pretty much says, I've been thinking about the past a lot, about my journey here now. And while I came close to beating Roman Reigns about this time last year, I've had a conversation with Triple H after that match, and he said, you had nothing to be down about. You're Rocky. In ring, you're like that underdog. And then Sammy, now in an interview, pretty much says, I'm not the underdog anymore. I'm a contender that will be champion, and I'm going to prove everyone right. So, fired up Sami Zayn. I do hope he can make it to that main event, because I think he deserves it. And fine Alamo for Monday Night Raw. We got the bull rope match between Shinsuke Nakamura and Cody Rhodes. Now, I'm going to tell you the rules of the bull rope match. Essentially, it's no DQ, but you can only use the bull rope, which is tied between the two competitors by the wrist, and then there's a bell right in the middle. So, these two definitely took advantage of the bull rope at points, whether it's Nakamura, hanging Cody Rhodes over the barricade, Cody using the cowbell to his advantage, Cody a couple times going for the figure four, which I found to be weird. Then eventually, Nakamura hits Cody with the red mist to the eyes. Then Cody hits a crossroads from out of nowhere, but that only got a 2 count. Couple more bell shots. Cody blocks the Kinshasa. Hits a low blow. And then a crossroads to pick up the win. Very entertaining bull rope match, but like I said, I do wish Nakamura could at least win one big fight. But then post-match, we see Drew McIntyre come out and attack Cody Rhodes after the match, finishing up with the Claymore. So, definitely an interesting build-up for WrestleMania. We'll see where that goes from there. Next up, we got NWA Power. And this is a return for them. I'm glad they're back from hiatus. And it is actually on the CW app. So, you don't have to pay anything for that, completely free. And they upload it pretty much right away. So you can watch it whenever. You don't have to wait until 6:05. First thing we see is a vignette for EC3 versus Matt Cardona in our main event. We'll get to that one in a little bit. But our first matchup is for the NWA World Tag Team titles, as Blunt Force Trauma defend against Jack Stane and Tim Storm. Yeah, this was definitely an interesting matchup of powerhouses. Before the bell rings, BFT jumps Storm and Dane. That definitely takes a little while to kind of sort itself out, but eventually the match starts. Definitely some big power moves, including a nasty power slam. And then throughout the match, we see Tim Storm trying to go for the Iron Claw, the Von Erichs move. So that's definitely weird. So at one point, the ref takes a bump. Aaron Stevens, who is BFT's manager, loads up his glove, cracks Jack Stane in the jaw. Then Tim Storm. He definitely tries again with Tim Storm, but it doesn't work. Storm takes the glove off Aaron Stevens' hand, but then damage with the roll-up from behind. And your winners, still tag team champions, Blunt Force Trauma. I enjoyed this match. It was fine for what it was. I wouldn't say, go out of your way and see it, but if you do end up seeing it, it's not bad. Next up, we got a backstage interview with the current TV champion, Mims, who apparently has a unification match with Max the Impaler. Apparently they're going to unify the men's and women's TV title, which might mean an intergender TV title, which could be cool. But then Mims pretty much says, I know who I am. Not many people can say that. This is a big match with a big honor. And what I have a chance to do is history. I'm going to smash it in this, my 6th defense, and be undisputed TV champion. But I don't need to carry around another belt, so what I might do is relinquish the women's TV title and focus on the World Heavyweight title after my 7th defense. So, nice easy little promo from Mims, and looks like they're turning him heel, which could be interesting. We then get an interview from challenger Matt Cardona, who pretty much says, when I came here to the NWA, I wanted to do 2 things. I wanted to save the NWA, and I wanted to win the World Championship. But where's my title right now? I obviously had to relinquish it. And EC3, you're not taking my crown this time, because I'm always ready. So, Cardona pumped and ready for the main event. But first, we go to the NWA Women's title match as Tiffany Nieves challenges Kenzie Page. And this is definitely a match you should go out of your way and see. There was definitely a lot of good back and forth. It did start off a little slow at first, but then it got into 2nd gear. But then by the time it got to 3rd gear, some interesting things happened. Including Nieves kind of debuting a new submission, the Royal C, which that's definitely interesting. But Kenzie gets in the ropes, she doesn't tap. Quick cross chop to the throat of Nieves. Ow. And then Kenzie gets her NWA World title. Looks like she's going for a belt shot. Ref takes it away. And as the ref is putting it on the side, Kenzie hits a Kenzie cutter for the victory. So, I'm going to say this. I like Kenzie Page's heel tactics. They definitely work a lot better and are maybe not as traditional as I would like to see, but I'm definitely enjoying her run. It's definitely going to be interesting to see who the NWA lines up as future challengers. Then we go to a really interesting promo from EC3, where Death isn't... I'm not going to say that first part. That could get me in a little bit of trouble. So, pretty much says, me and Cardona, we're cut from the same cloth. We'll bleed for that belt. It's going to be the Indie God versus the Overman. And I plan to keep the title. But if I fall, I'll resurrect because I'm over, man. So, the Overman character, I'm going to give EC3 a lot of credit for, is way more interesting than Control Your Narrative guy, because it's weird. Anyway, we then go for our main event, and it's the ultimate match of death, for the NWA title as Mark Cardona takes on EC3. And while at first, they go for their basic moves at first, then weapons get introduced. And for whatever reason, they're painted gold. I'm not sure why that happened, but, it's fine. And they used everything. They used chairs. They used doors. There was a guitar shot. There was thumbtacks. There was even a guitar a la Jeff Jarrett. Near the end, Cardona hits the 1%er, but that EC3 kicks out. Bit closer to the end, Cardona hits a low blow on EC3, hits the radio silence in the thumbtacks, only getting a 2 count. Then Cardona gets a bundle of golden light tubes, which that looks really, really weird. EC3 with the low blow, takes the light tube shot all over Cardona. 1%er right into the purpose submission for the EC3 retention. I'm going to say if you are a fan of weapons matches, you're really going to enjoy this one. If not, novelty of it I think is more than enough. So, NWA Power, super glad it's back. And going to be interesting to see what they do going forward. So then last, for the review portion of this show, we got AEW Dynamite, and we start off with the Blood Feud, where the winner challenges Samoa Joe for the AEW title at Revolution. We got Swerve Strickland taking on Hangman Adam Page. And oh boy, this was definitely one of my favorite matches, maybe ever. This was an awesome matchup. These two took their intensity from their death match and just took away the weapons. This was intense. You could feel the hatred after every shot, including Swerve hitting a buckshot lariat, but only getting a 2 count. But then, as Swerve was getting ready, hits a JML driver. 1, 2, ding, 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 ding. The time limit has been reached. There is no winner. So you see a kind of big old poop-eating grin on Hangman Adam Page. He rolls out of the ring. Swerve grabs a microphone, pretty much says to Page, "I had you dead to rights, Adam Cole. You know how this goes. Let's get 5 more minutes." Then Page gets on the mic, pretty much says, "Nah, you couldn't beat me. That's it. Your journey's done." So then we get Tony Schiavone announcing via Tony Khan that at Revolution, it's going to be a triple threat with Samoa Joe, Swerve, and Hangman Adam Page. And you could just tell on Hangman Adam Page's face that he was not happy. And to anyone who says, AEW doesn't tell stories, that's bull. That's a whole lot of bull. Anyway, so then we go backstage, right to the champ, Samoa Joe, who's like, "Yeah, I'm thrilled for this. This is great. This is exactly what I wanted. A triple threat at Revolution." Powers that be continue to stack the deck against me. And no matter what, at Revolution, I'm going to walk out as champ, and you two will suffer for it. Ooh, Dem's fighting words. I can't wait for that triple threat. That's going to be fun. Then we have Deonna Purrazzo walking out. She's on commentary for this next match, as Red Velvet takes on Toni Storm in a pretty much championship qualifier match in which if Red Velvet wins, she'll get a future title shot. And this match definitely showcased Red Velvet a whole lot more than I thought they would. But ultimately, after a big kick into an ankle lock, which you don't see Toni Storm pulling out the submission moves all that often, your winner is Toni Storm. Then Storm doesn't relinquish the hold. Deonna Purrazzo gets in the ring. Storm relinquishes the hold. They have a little stare down. And then for whatever reason, Toni Storm just starts sniffing Purrazzo for whatever reason. Looks like Purrazzo is going to get a little heated. Luther breaks it up, gets between them, gets Toni Storm out of the ring. That match is also going to be very good. Revolution is definitely building up. We then get a best friends interview, and it's revealed Orange Cassidy is going to defend his international title against Tomohiro Ishii on Saturday. But then on Friday, Rocky Romero, and not Chuck Taylor, Trent Beretta are going to be in a 6-man tag against the Undisputed Kingdom. So, and then, Orange Cassidy tries to play it off, says, yeah, that's going to be fine. We're going to be fine. Then the interviewer asks, do we have any update on Chuck Taylor? Cassidy pretty much says, yeah, Chuck is being checked on. So now we're going to go check on him being checked on. Which, I love Orange Cassidy. He's so simple, yet he's also really complex as a character. It's great. And the way, this next match. It's a 6-man tag team match player as the Blackpool Combat Club, being represented by Bryan Danielson, Claudio Castagnoli, and Jon Moxley, takes on a trio of CMLL wrestlers. You have Escalerta, I do hope I'm saying that right, Mascara Dorado, and I do not have the name of the last guy. I do apologize. If you haven't seen any CMLL in your life, I'm going to say I recommend this match, and then I'm going to recommend CMLL, because I've seen, a little bit, but, this was definitely a bigger sample size, and this was absolutely awesome. There were some points that looked a little weird, like Mascara Dorado trying for a Rana, but not really hitting all of it on Claudio. It was definitely a little kind of bumpy at the start, but by the end, Jesus, that was wild. Anyway, end comes with a ref bump, a low blow by Claudio into the roll-up for the win by the Blackpool Combat Club. Then we see some other CMLL wrestlers who were sitting in the crowd jump the railing, get in the ring. Looks like all 6 of them are going to take on the Blackpool Combat Club. But then Matt Sydal, I want to say Christopher Daniels, and 2.0 come out to run off the CMLL guys. So, that's I'm going to say this. I do like they're making this kind of an intra-promotional feud. So, Forbidden Door might involve some CMLL action, which I'm definitely ready for. Then we cut to backstage, where the Undisputed Kingdom is taking out Chuck Taylor. In rolls Adam Cole, looks right into Chuck Taylor's face, saying, "Feel better soon, Chucky," and just leaving. We then get the Tony Khan announcement, as March 13th, AEW will hold their Big Business show, which is a big dynamite show at the TD Garden in Boston, Massachusetts. Calls it the most important night in AEW history and a big night for pro wrestling. So, that could be interesting. And then we get a look at the poster and we see Boston spelled out in some way, but it's B-O $S T-O-N. Oh, I wonder who that could be teasing. 'Cause it's boss time. I know what you're doing, Tony. I love it. Next up, we get this feud I wish would just go by a little quickly. We got Konosuke Takeshita taking on Chris Jericho. And, I mean, it was fine. Like, I wouldn't say it's anything to really tell your friends all about, but I did enjoy it. Definitely some good back and forth, including Takeshita blocking a Lionsault, which that was pretty neat. Takeshita tries for a power drive knee, but that gets blocked by Jericho. Jericho tries for the Walls of Jericho, but then Don Callis, who's at ringside, throws in a chair for Takeshita. Ref sees it, pulls it out of the ring, hits Jericho with a screwdriver, and then Takeshita with the Walls of Jericho himself. Jericho tries to fight out, but he ends up tapping out. So, Takeshita has a win against Jericho. Alright. Now let's do something else with Takeshita, please. Like, maybe he could beat Orange Cassidy for his title. Or something. Something a little bit more significant. And finally, our main event. It is a Tornado Tag Team match for the AEW Tag Team titles. Now, what that means is both sides can be in the ring at the same time without having to tag. So, it was chaos right off the bat. Just a big brawl over to, like, you know, kind of where the crowd would leave to go for the concourse. And Sting ends up on one of the entrances and stage dives off onto Big Bill and Ricky Starks. They do eventually make it back down to the ring. They get a little bit more in. Darby Allin with a code red to Big Bill, and then a coffin drop to Ricky Starks on the outside. Stinger goes for the Scorpion Deathlock, but Ricky Starks gets out. Sting ends up letting go of the Scorpion. Then we see Ricky Starks go for a spear, only for a 2 count. Then Ricky, he's in the corner. He's like, how do I put this guy away? Sting's getting up. Ricky looks like he's going for the spear, but then he hesitates. He's like, oh, I can't do this. This is the Stinger. I can't. Goes for the spear. He gets caught. Scorpion Death Drop. And your winners and the new AEW World Tag Team Champions, it's Sting and Darby Allin. So now we got the confetti going. We got the celebration going. Sting's sons join them in which, yeah, those definitely look like the Stinger. So then everyone's celebrating. In comes the Young Bucks wearing pretty much all white suits with white baseball bats, and they just beat the tar out of Sting, Darby Allin, Sting's sons. They have Sting up for the BTE trigger, they hit that, although now they call it the EVP trigger, in which, yes. More bat shots for Stinger, and then super kick party to Darby. So, yeah, it definitely looks like we're getting that challenge for Revolution for Sting's last match, in which I'm definitely a little hyped for it. I hope you guys are too, because Revolution's shaping up. And so that ends my review. Now I'm going to talk a little bit about last night's WrestleMania presser, because, oh boy, this is going to be interesting. So we pretty much got the Rhea Ripley Becky Lynch stare down, which, you know, pretty much kind of puts a damper on the Elimination Chamber. Unless they're going to have Liv Morgan win, in which I wouldn't mind that. But then we got the big one. We get, you know, Seth Rollins out. He calls out Cody. But then out comes Roman Reigns. They kind of bicker for a little bit. Then Roman says, well, considering Cody's moment is done and he has yet to choose, I'm going to choose, and I'm going to choose The Rock. Things brings out The Rock, and he goes down the Anoa'i. He brings up the Anoa'i family tree, in which, if you haven't seen that, go look at the Anoa'i family tree. It is nuts. Like, it is absolutely crazy. So then, you know, they're jawing for a little bit. So it's like, oh, you can't just choose yourself. That's up to Cody. So then Cody comes out and he's like, all right. With no music, by the way, which, that's weird. Anyway, Cody pretty much says, look, I know I've been dawdling, but I've officially made the decision, and I choose you, Roman Reigns. And, you know, and this piss offs Rock to no end. Rock and Cody then have a stare down, and then Rock smacks the tar out of Cody Rhodes. Like, okay, that's gonna be interesting. And then what's also interesting, you have Rock and Roman leaving together. So does this mean Roman is officially heel and in the bloodline? Because honestly, I'd be totally down with that. Although, that might mean he's costing Cody this year, which, no thank you. Anyway, so, that's my review of these last few things in wrestling. I hope you all enjoyed. So, coming potentially Monday, we'll see what happens. Maybe I'll push it to Tuesday. I'll give you the rest of the week in wrestling. That'll be TNA, SmackDown, which proves to be a pretty big one, and AEW Rampage. No Collision, because I am going out tomorrow night. Hope you all enjoy the Super Bowl, and until next time, happy wrestling, everybody. Peace.